Praise the Lord and welcome to another edition of Action Coaching. I am delighted that you join us on today because I believe that everyone needs a coach in their life. Some call it a mentor, a guide, whatever, but I believe none of us make it by ourselves. But all of us are needing someone that have perhaps traveled the path, not to change us, but it just gives us some tips, some guidance on the things that we are going to face coming down the same road. I remember one time we were in a place and we were all excited about climbing the mountain. Of course, that's when I was much younger, and me and my friends, we were excited about climbing up this particular mountain. Now, of course, climbing up the mountain, you had to know the things that you needed to do in order to climb the mountain safely. We standing there looking at it saying, well, we just throw the rope up there, we connect the rope like this, and we're going to climb the mountain. But thank God that they had a guide, a person who had consistently climbed the mountain. And he wasn't trying to deter us from climbing the mountain. He was just simply giving us some tips, things that we needed to do while we were climbing the mountain, which turned out to be most helpful to us. So that's the purpose of coaching in life. That's the purpose of having mentors. That's the purpose of having someone that when you don't feel like going, they can motivate you to keep going, to keep driving, because ultimately they see that gift and talent that you have. How do they see it? Because they've had some similar gift or similar talent, and they know it when they see it. And so they're there to just encourage you, to guide you so that you can ultimately reach your goal. Now this week, I want to talk about there are goals in life that we all want to achieve. And not only that, there are goals that are open up to anybody that is willing to do what's necessary to achieve those things. What I want to talk about today is if you want to rise above the crowd, if you want to reach a place where your dreams can be fulfilled and all of the things that you desire to have, well, it's going to be important that you understand that it is not going to be easy. You can't just work like regular people and expect supernatural things in your life. You can't hang around and not do nothing and do what's necessary and do more than is necessary. You got to strive for excellence. You got to persevere. You got to keep going even when you get tired, disgusted, or you don't have anything to help supply your vision. You still got to be willing to go and push and trust if you want to get to that level. How many people have you seen in life who want to get to a certain level, but they don't want to put in all of the work you have to put in? It ain't about you outdoing somebody else. It's about you being the best you can be. It's about you maximizing your ability, your goal, and your focus so that you can reach the next level in your life. And for that, you got to do what's necessary. You got to rise above the crowd. You're not going to get above the crowd being a normal, being the same as the crowd. You're going to have to be willing to rise above the crowd. Now I want to just talk today on some things that have helped me, but there have been mentors before me that told me these particular things. And yeah, I was a little younger then and I tried to go around them. I thought it would be a little bit easier, but however, I found myself coming right back to what they had originally said. So let's jump right into it quick. Now, number one, to be the best at anything, to achieve the goals and the visions that you desire to achieve, is you got to learn that it's going to take tremendous focus. Then we've talked about focus many times, but focus is necessary for you to achieve anything. That's why people talk about focus so much, because it's easy to get unfocused. When you're going after a dream, when you're going after a vision, when you're going after any goal in life, focus is necessary. And the amazing thing about focus is nobody can make you focus but you. That's something you are going to have to work out yourself. You can be told about it, you can be coached, you could be pushed about it, you can have signs all around you, but only you can make the decision to focus. Want to know why? Because when you focus, a lot of things that you like that are not necessary for your destiny is the very thing that'll keep you from getting to your destiny. It's always those distractions. And you know the amazing thing about distractions is most of us like them. You know, you have friends that you focus on doing something. They tell you, well, you ought to take some time off. Come over here and let's enjoy something. And then you can get back to it. And the idea of coming over there and enjoy something, yes, it sounds appealing. And then say you take a day off and you go over there and enjoy something. That's a day or 2 days you put yourself behind. You got to understand what you concentrating on, what you desire to go, the focus, the goal that you desire to have. It ain't waiting on you. You got to seize it. You got to go for it. Focus allow you to say, if it ain't about where I'm going to, I don't have any time for it. The first thing I learned in ministry was the focus. I had to decide, now, what was the vision and the purpose God gave me, first of all, and I needed to focus on that. I wasn't trying to do 8 different things, as a lot of times people try to tell you to do. I had to stay focused on that one thing. And if I stayed focused on that one thing, then God was going to lead me to the place I needed to go. And the first thing I had to focus on, God gave me a vision. He said, go tell people to put the word in action. Meaning that everything about my message was word in action. If it ain't action, I don't have no time to talk about it. But I had to be focused on that. Then yes, people came along, told me, well, you ought to be this kind of preacher, you ought to do it this way. You know, over here, we let the choir sing, and the choir lead. I ain't got nothing against all of that. But I had to stay focused on my purpose. I had to stay focused on what I was called to do, because ultimately, if I was going to reach another level, focus was going to be necessary. And isn't it amazing? The more you focus, the more things grow. I've talked to people in various fields, various endeavors. And when you sit down and talk about it, the first thing they tell you is, I stay focused on my craft. If it's a guy got great muscles, great body definition, can do all kind of things, when he begins to tell me his routine that he do every day, I find out then taking a lot of focus. He don't have no time to run off and do things that might be enjoyable, but they're not what he focuses on. If he want whatever he's desiring to do to grow, you got to stay focused. Now, I don't want you to go anywhere. I'll be right back to talk to you. Sitting on my bed, watching a preacher preach on the television screen. And I said to myself, Lord, I can do better than him. I left off talking about focus. How that if you want to achieve anything, you got to focus first. And that's what I did. I learned to do. I learned that my goal and vision was to stay focused on what God told me to do. Now I wasn't thinking about no church. I wasn't thinking about no choir. I wasn't thinking about how much money I was going to make. I wasn't thinking about none of these things. I was thinking about one thing, word in action. And if I am not being word in action or pushing somebody to put the word in action, I done lost focus. And I know there are many ideas that came along and might have sounded nice, but I had to stick to the one that I was focused on. There were times I even heard things that's better, but still, I had to stay focused on that one thing. And that's why coaching is not to change you, it's to help you stay focused. Number 2, I had to have faith in what I was believing for myself. It is too many people out there that got to have somebody talking to you all the time to convince you what you know you should do. They believe more than you believe. And that ain't right. You know, they could talk so much confidence in you and you all fired up and ready to go. And the minute you start, then all that confidence and all that fired up and ready to go you had, it fizzles out. Because the fact of the matter is, you never take the time to believe in your own dream. To persevere yourself and say, I believe that it will work. How do you know you believe? Because there are trials going to come. There are difficulties going to come. But you got to say to yourself, I believe in what I'm supposed to do. And nothing is going to hinder me from arriving at my goal. Now, I believe in what God told me. And I'm not going to tell you there were a whole lot of people around me that believed along with me. Matter of fact, there's a whole lot of people around me telling me I couldn't do what I said I believe I can do. All of them were around. I get it. I didn't look like it. They didn't think it should work that way. But you know, I learned something. If I don't believe in it, who else will? I think believing in something is like this in life. If you believe in what you visualize and you've been told to do or what you're going to strive to do, pretty soon it's like running down the road. You may be the only one running, but you believe that there is a prize at the end of the road. And after a while, you'll see other people come running along with you. Now they might not see what you see, but they see that you see that something is going to happen, and maybe they want to be a part of it. And other things start to join you because you got faith in what you've been told. In this American story that we live in this world that we live in, a lot of great people, a lot of people who can do tremendous things, and the reason they have not done those tremendous things is because they got so far and they stopped believing in themselves. And therefore, their dream slipped right by them. But the second thing is, you got to believe. Now, I don't need a whole lot of people to believe in me, because I do believe in me. No matter what anybody got to say, I do believe in me. Now, I know people can come along and give you advice how to believe in you even the more, but I do believe in me. I'm focused, and I believe in me. And I'm moving toward the goal that I see. Third thing I want to talk about is, I talked about focus, talked about how you got to have faith in yourself. And the third thing I want to talk to you about is you got to be determined to finish what you started. I remember one year, at that particular time, they have been here in Atlanta every year, what you call the Peachtree Road Race. Now, actually, I never, to that point, had ran the 5 miles because that just was what I do. But however, as a challenge to myself to get in better physical shape, I decided that I would run Peachtree Road Race. Never will forget it. Got up that morning, got a ride down to the finish, to the starting line where they were going to start. 5 miles starts here in Atlanta, and you run all the way in the park. And I just figured I'd do the race because it was a challenge. It was something to do to further motivate me. I was not an active runner. I was not a person that got particularly excited about running, but it was something I figured I would do to add to the things I was already believing in. Never will forget that day. Probably 5,000 people down there running. So it was hot when we was running, but it was hotter when you got 5,000 people all gathered together. The heat was, oh my God. It was something I never experienced before. And I started running the race. Started running. First mile, I was okay. Second mile, I was still doing pretty good. Then I think long about the third mile, they call it where it's a hill we got to run. Forget the name of what they call it, but that was kind of the treacherous part of the road race. And then I started that. And when I started there, I said, well, my mind started saying, well, you really don't have to do this. It ain't like you get the prize and then, so if you just stop and walk. And then you had a pretty good day. You done ran a couple of miles, so, that's good enough. But just as that thinking was coming in my mind, I am deadly tired, you all. Yeah, in my mind it said, just quit. I ran enough for the day. I don't necessarily need to finish this. Because it wasn't like it was no prize, wasn't nobody going to be giving me a trophy. It was just something I felt I needed to do that was necessary for all of the things I was going to do. And just as I got ready to stop, 3 young men came running by me. And they were running. They were running just like they just started. We 3 miles in. And they came running by me. And they looked at me and said, all right now, remember, you got to finish what we started. It ain't that far. And you can finish. I'd have you to know what they said took that stopping out of me. It burst, I got to finish this. Why do I have to finish? Because if I started it, I needed to finish it. And that's what I'm saying to so many of you. You started something, you might get discouraged, things not working quite right, but you got to finish. Because at the end, it's going to be a greater blessing for you. Now somebody might say, well, if you don't win, how is it going to be a greater blessing for you? Well, the fact that I kept on going and eventually finished the race, oh man, it was so exciting. It was so exciting that I did not quit. I finished what I started. I kept on running, and I was grateful for that fact. So, as I close this action coaching, I want you to know you got to have focus, you got to have faith in yourself, and you got to finish. Now, I don't want you to go anywhere. I'll be right back to talk to you. Welcome back. Thank God for you joining us on Action Coaching on today. I trust that the little tips that I've shared with you will greatly enhance what you are endeavoring to do. I want to be the one that comes along to coach you, push you, help you stay focused on goals and help you achieve it at the end. And I am excited about it. I want to encourage you to sit down and sow a generous seed faith offering for the support of Action Coaching. Yes, we need your financial support because we want to continue to grow Action Coaching and make it bigger and better and do some more creative things. And as a result of you sowing into Action Coaching, you can help us do that on today. There's a link in my bio that will allow you to sow a seed for the support of Action Coaching. Some can sow 100, 200, some can sow even more. Every offering is appreciated, and I know God is going to richly bless you for you sowing that seed on today. I want you to go to that link, click the link, take one of those ways to sow unto the ministry, and God is going to richly bless you. Thank you for your support of Action Coaching. Thank you for how you continue to pray for us and continue to pray that God do bigger and better things here at Action Coaching so that we can bless even more people. The Lord bless you. I thank you so much for the seed that you sown on today. Now, before I leave Action Coaching, I got a special announcement I want to make. Of course, it's important to me. It's important to the other individual that's involved in this. And I want you to just thank God with us that we were able to achieve this blessing and to be here to celebrate this time. Tomorrow, March 20th. You know what? I will celebrate 32 years of being married to the woman of my dreams. The question comes to me sometimes, some years ago, when I was getting ready to get married. They said, what was it about Mary Bruce at that time that made you want to make her Mary Jackson? Then it wasn't all about me. I had to ask and she had to accept. So I don't want y'all to think I was making her to do anything. But I got a great thought about that. I looked at my vision in life and where I wanted to go. And when I looked at Mary Jackson, I knew I had found the right partner to help me make all of my dreams come to pass. And for that, I am most grateful for Mary being in my life. I often say I wouldn't be Wiley Jackson without Mary Jackson, and I am grateful for her. So I want to say to Mary, it looked like 32 years was just yesterday. And definitely we're looking for 100 more. Happy anniversary to the love of my life. God bless you. I certainly enjoyed talking to you here on Action Coaching. See you next time.